Robert, as you mentioned, finding talent these days is becoming very challenging, especially for the tech industry, especially in the tech industry here in Vancouver. We all know that we are all trying to find the best developer, the best front-end or back-end developer. So what tips you have for employers in terms of distinguishing themselves so that the job seekers will come to work to them and not to the competitor?
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, the first comment that I usually tell people is that the war for talent that everybody's been talking about, it's over. Talent won. Get over it. Okay. So, companies and HR departments need to focus on is the employee experience. I know we've been talking schools, talk about the student experience, and retail companies talk about the customer experience. Okay. We need to focus on the employee experience. Now, according to Jacob Morgan, is kind of a guru in this area. He says it's broken down into 3 areas. The first one, and fairly the easiest one to take care of, relatively speaking, is the physical environment. That means, how is the office laid out? Is it open? Do you have meeting rooms? Do you have brainstorming areas? Do you have quiet rooms? Do you have, everybody, there's this debate between closed offices and open offices. There is no debate. People want different things at different times. And so what you need to do is cater to that. So again, relatively speaking, have a look at how your office is laid out. You've got introverts, extroverts, you got different types of people. So make sure that your office caters to that, right? Not rocket science. The research is out there and it's not really controversial. You do need to be all things to all people in that area and just understand that people work different ways. And even extroverts need quiet times, and even introverts need to have brainstorming areas, right? So don't make assumptions about people. Go out there and make sure that you have an office environment that caters to all of them. Number 2, he talks about the cultural environment. So these are the pieces that make you uniquely different. So in terms of your values and your company values, so do your leaders exhibit these values on a daily basis, right? Because you can have these things pasted up on your wall, on your intranet and everything else like that. If your leaders are not a great example of those behaviors and action that you expect in terms of values, you have no culture, right? The culture will be dependent on how people behave in different offices with different managers and so on. So culture basically is behaviors as exhibited from the top down. And so that people will look at that. And so you need to have the right cultural environment and reinforce those pieces through your leadership. The last one, and it's fairly interesting, is the technological environment. Now, what has happened in the workplace is that, we've got these great phones, right? So we've got a nice little phone, and I open it, I got a bunch of apps on it, and these apps are easy to use, they're intuitive. What happens when you get to work? You show up, everything you've got to use for work is like 174 steps. It looks like Windows 95. I mean, if you look at some of the Oracle products and even some of the Microsoft Office products, it's just not easy to use. It's just not intuitive. It's not what Jacob Morgan calls consumer grade technology. So when you start to think about the technological environment of the workplace, you need to look at, are we buying a product that is geared towards the type of employee we have? Are they millennials? Are we a startup? And so on. And, is it easy to use? Is it consumer grade? Is it pleasurable to use? Is it, intuitive? Is there good UX? Is there good design, right? They're not contrary. In other words, you don't have to have like clunky, old school, non-iterative, intuitive design. You can have good design and have things that are quite useful for the office environment. So again, just to go in, you need to focus on the employee experience if you want to differentiate yourself from other folks, especially in the tech area. So focus on your physical environment, focus on your cultural environment, and focus on your technological environment.
Yeah, those are very great tips, Robert. Do you think that employers should tell that in a story when they are presenting themselves, like employer branding, or when they're presenting their culture? They should include all those things that you mentioned?
Oh, most definitely. And, there are various ways to do it, but most people don't want to read about it, right? Because everybody talks a good game. Show it. Show it on your Instagram page, right? And put out photos of your company doing these things, right? Show photos of your office environment. Show photos of team building. Show photos of, the technology that you use. Show off your tech stack in terms of, hey, this is what we use and we're proud of it. These are our process flows. Look, it's not 99% of the time, it's not proprietary information that you use, Jira and these type of things. But then, it attracts like-minded people. If you have a fairly evolved and nicely, thought out tech stack, that will attract people. I'm sorry, it just does. I mean, most people want to get things done with as little friction as possible. If you can say, hey, we've given thought to this tech stack and, things happen fairly quickly here because it's very clear cut, that is a positive, to the employees.
Especially nowadays, job seekers are doing their research. They're going on social media, Glassdoor, LinkedIn. They want to see where they're working. And I also read that if the job seekers see a video of the company, hey, this is our office. This can be your future boss, or this is your colleagues. That will excite them to work rather than to a company that doesn't have any pictures or any videos. Right?
Yeah, I would take that even a step further. So what I do is I advise people, when they do a job ad. So first of all, write it like you're talking to your friend. Do not put responsible for, and don't put any of that nonsense down. Tell them, day one, this is what your first month will look like. By month 3, you're cruising, moving along. You're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. At the end of the first year, here's what you've done. Bump, 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 bump. Hey, come work for me. My name is Bob. And, we'll have a great time together. Maybe pan the camera. This is a team of people that you'll be working with, right? Making a human conversation, not a job ad with, all these type of things. And then the other piece too is cut out the nonsense with the years of experience. Years of experience really don't matter. It's the quality of your experience. So again, what you're looking for is not somebody with 8 years of experience of X. What do you want them to do with that 8 years of experience, right? Do you want them to be able to, code a certain number of things, being able to take a prototype of a product and talk to a client about it? So say that you have a considerable amount of demonstrable experience in ideating, prototyping, and pitching a product to a client. Right? Who cares if the guy's done it 20 times in 3 years? Or once in 8 years, it's just.
But Robert, we're not seeing that when we are looking for jobs posted on Indeed or other platforms. We're not seeing what we're talking about. So why companies are still going to the old trend with sometimes like 2 pages of job requirements? So why they are still there? Are they afraid of the change, or this is the way we're doing and they are stuck there?
Yeah, it's a little bit of being stuck. It's a little bit of, okay, I'm not afraid to court a little bit of danger here, but no, I will say they're lazy. Because, okay, first thing, you have to switch from the job description, and go more towards a success profile. Success profile is forward-looking, and it tells you what the person needs to do, what outcome the person needs to deliver in order to be successful. Hey, that's kind of a positive thing. So if you take a success profile and drop it into an ad, it is enticing, it is engaging, and the person knows exactly what they'll have to deliver. There's no doubt about it. It's, if it's for a sales job, tell them, by the end of year 1, you will have hit your quota of $1 million in sales. And, then you make sure you do the lead up to that. You will have these tools. We have this tech stack. These are, what's available. This is the environment, as you just mentioned. Hey, look, here's a video of this, and so on and so forth. Explain to people what success looks like. If somebody has done it or they've come close to it, then they'll apply with confidence and say, yes, I've done this before, but I'm ready for the big leagues, right? I've delivered 4 years of $500,000, $600,000 in sales. I could do $1 million with your product.
Those are great tips. Hope the employers will implement that in 2019.